TTPs, IOCs, incident reports, threat intelligence reports. All of this information is data that helps you get a better understanding of answering the question of what are the bad guys really after. Come with me where we'll digest and we'll jump into this topic of what are the hackers, what are the bad guys really after for you and your organization. Hello, and welcome back to Struggle Security. My name is Gabriel Agarucci. We're here, we normalize struggling in cybersecurity. It's okay not to know, it's okay to struggle. I've struggled a lot, and here on this channel, we're normalizing that struggle in cybersecurity. If this is your first time here, I want you to hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell so you can get more and more of this type of content. We're gonna jump right into the question here because the question that we're answering is what are hackers really after? What are they really after? So as a cybersecurity professional, many times we have a focus in on the tools, on the processes and the procedures of cybersecurity, but it also is important to understand what the bad guys are really after for your organization. So really starting in the question of what are they really after, the short answer is it all depends. And the long answer is that we can understand what they are after by understanding what they have done in the past and what information we have about their current and recent activities. That's more of the long answer. And that's something that I want to kind of start us to have this conversation about. Let's start with a real question, a real scenario.
Okay.
So someone who might be a senior security threat intelligence analyst or a senior security threat analyst or a threat analyst, you all might have this particular question coming from your leadership. So this is a scenario. You work for a financial organization and you walk into the office on Monday morning and your CISO, your Chief Information Security Officer, asks that they need to brief the company's board of directors on if the Russian-Ukrainian warfare is a threat to your organization.
What?
Again, you work for a financial organization, CISO comes in and asks to see or wants to understand from you if there is something that is affecting your organization. And I think that the next questions are very integral. And I want to take you through some of these questions. Actually, I want to pause here, give you a quick chance to maybe write down some of these things. I'll pause for just a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3, or you can even pause the video yourself. And I want to take you through some of these questions that's important to ask to really ascertain what the CISO is asking here. I think the first question is to understand who is your audience. Who is your audience for this information, right? The most critical piece of information sharing and reports is to understand who is going to be the individuals or the group of individuals who are digesting the information that you're putting together. So from the scenario, the audience is who? The board of directors. The board of directors is typically some executive audience who might or might not understand those technical specifics as it concerns cybersecurity. In many cases, they won't. And they wouldn't be familiar with the jargon and the acronyms of cybersecurity. So you need to break down this information so that the message can come across to an executive audience. Many times there's certain implications of communicating to executive audiences is length of communications. You're not writing a 1, 2, 3 page threat intelligence report for them to ingest. You're not doing that for this audience. Verbiage. You're not using acronyms. You're not using security, or you're not assuming that they understand the verbiage and the conversations in cybersecurity. These executive audiences want things like charts and graphs and metrics and statistics that support your findings or your understanding of things. And they want easy to understand information overall that does not need a strong cybersecurity background in order to understand. The second question I want to go over is that you need to look at what available resources you have to understand this question or to answer this question. You want to go to your SOC or your Security Operations Center and ask them, what have they seen? So a SOC is typically like a monitoring or kind of big brother for the networks and systems and the assets and hosts within your environment, within your company. So they would have an understanding because they are currently always monitoring for malicious activity. And asking this audience is utilizing a very valuable resource. Asking a SOC for malicious understanding or understanding of malicious activity in the environment will help you to understand that current threat activity or how that is affecting your infrastructure. Because they'll see what bad guys have tried to get in, they'll see who has gotten in, see about phishing campaigns and all types of things they'll be able to provide to you to give you a better understanding of what current malicious activity has been happening within your organization. Another thing that you might want to do is, what are my threat intelligence sources and what is the relevancy to my organization? There are many threat intelligence sources out there, whether it's articles, threat intelligence organization put out all types of feeds and APIs, threat intelligence feeds that integrate into some of these SIM solutions. So that might be something aligned with your SOC questions. There are many reputable organizations and security practitioners who put out very good threat intelligence information on Twitter so you can understand what those current threats are and the applicability to your organization. And the most important consideration here is scouring the threat intelligence for its relevancy and context, because we must remain cognizant to work against threats that pose a risk that are occurring, right? That are currently happening or currently occurring. Relevancy is a key determinant in ensuring our resources are focused on those threats with meaningful likelihoods, and not only likelihood, but impact. How can this impact my organization? A prime example, right? This scenario is for a financial organization. For my specific in cybersecurity, I focus on industrial cybersecurity environments. There's a lot of threat intelligence that just does not translate over into the financial industry. Many times, things that we hear in the industrial environment is things that stop production, things that stop plant environments, things that stop electrical generation. For the financial organizations, it's typically social security numbers, bank accounts, access to private customer information, and overall money. There are some differences in these environments. I'm not looking for industrial control system threat intel to apply to my financial organization's question. We need to find the relevancy and the context for the information that apply to my organization, not other organizations over here or over there that are not even in my industry. And also the idea of impact. How can this impact my environment? You need to have all these particular considerations. The last one is you need to translate or how will you translate these technical findings to layman's terms and also incorporate actionable and next steps and recommendations. This is so important. You're not only to report on what's happening, but also you need to come with some solutions and some recommendations on how to make sure that your organization isn't going to be affected by this particular threat group or whatever your findings are. From the Security Operations Center teams, you need to evaluate these threat intel resources, and you probably have a decent idea of what's occurring from all of the research that you did previously. So some things that you might have are sanitized incident response reports or sanitized incident reports from similar organizations within your industry. Some generated reports from the SOC team that might come from the SIM device. Twitter feeds from reputable security organizations and professionals on current threats. You might have threat intel reports specifically, or threat TTPs, right? Techniques, tactics, and procedures, and IOCs, indicators of compromises. You might have all of this information, all of this just pool of information, and now it's your responsibility to translate that into something understandable to an executive audience and something that also comes with recommendations on how to stay protected or get protected from these bad guys, right? So I say all that to say, to really answering the question of what are the hackers, what are the bad guys really after? It depends on your organization and all of the information I just shared previously, that threat intelligence, the stuff that you're seeing in your current environment, other reputable organizations and other industries or other people within your industry who have that information that can provide you about the current threats out there. So it is now time to take action on that information. You take that, you put it into a report, and you will present that, or the CISO will present that to that executive audience. Now, this is more of an advanced type of practice here, where you won't be doing this all by yourself. This will be something that you would do on a team, but definitely I wanted to kind of spark your thought process, get you kind of critically thinking about how would you respond to this particular question. So hopefully this has been valuable to you. If you have other questions, other concerns, please put them in the comment section. But hopefully this has helped you to alleviate one of your struggles and to answer the question of what are the bad guys really after? And that answer is really looking at threat intelligence and looking at what's currently happening in your organization. We'll talk more about this. Come back, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Struggle Security, where we are normalizing struggling in cybersecurity.